but you should smile more.
Oh my fucking god.
So, you're here in the Silver Lining, you've ordered some food, had some drink. Evening's progressed a little bit. More people are starting to show up in the tavern as it's starting to get to, you know, that sort of late afternoon, early evening. It's spring, you know, it gets dark pretty early. More people, nobles coming in for their drinks and meals. Many people having meetings around the table as you are. Funny enough, those Harlequins are actually back. The group wearing those kind of shimmery blue garb and things, who are in part playing music, sometimes performing. Yeah, tavern is now live as you're planning and such. What's the plan? What you doing? How are you doing?
You know, it occurs to me at times like this that we should go to some form of shop that sells magical items and buy something that we can store things in. Because we will not be able to carry the requisite amount of items for this journey.
We need at least one large tent. We're gonna have to sleep down there a lot. We're going to need some way to set traps in case.
I miss Amelia. She had really good spells for that sort of thing.
I miss her as well.
Go on, Indira. Sorry.
You get the gist.
No, come on. There's no gist with this.
That's it. That's the whole thing. We need traps. We need a way to lodge. We need food. We need to be in good condition the entire time that we're down there.
I wonder whether Amelia had the magic circle spell, right? She did. I'm certain of it now.
Magic circle, yes. Are you thinking of tiny hut though?
Yeah. I'm sure someone had that in this campaign.
I don't know if Amelia had tiny hut. She definitely had a bag of holding, and so did Salmi.
I remember at night sleeping out on the frozen plains, and we didn't freeze because it was temperature controlled.
Wards, maybe. I don't remember. I got a character sheet. I can check.
I don't remember a tiny hut ever.
No, but it obviously didn't look like a tiny hut. It was like a dome. Yeah, I remember because I got kicked out of it. Only people that she wanted in there.
No, but she has magic circle, which
How long
is
does
similar.
that last?
Oh no! She does have tiny hut. It's just not called tiny hut. You're right.
I knew she did.
Amelia's immobile dome of safety.
Exactly. Safety.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, tiny hut, like you know that like magical places to sleep protected do exist. You also know bags of holding exist. That's the magic you know exists.
If we could get something that would replicate Amelia's spell, I could see that being exceedingly useful. Muting sounds from inside, stopping light from inside, stopping smells from inside. It would certainly provide us a greater level of both comfort and safety.
Yeah,
I am
we
all
need
for
that.
comfort.
Can't imagine we're gonna run into a lot of water down there, Serena.
That we're looking for some sort of trinket that allows us to do this.
Yes, like I don't know, an enchanted sleeping bag or a pair of slippers.
I'm sure within the city there exist scrolls of this spell.
Scrolls tend to be more temporary than
I know.
I would like.
I'm wondering if there exist enchanters as well, but this is all becoming pricey.
Mr. Vale can tell you that, like, because you're in the fancy fucking part of the city, actually finding a place to buy magic items isn't going to take you as long as it usually would. It's just you're looking for very specific things. But magic item shops exist in the wealthy parts of Thunderdrall. Yeah.
No, yeah, let's go.
You want to go now, and then like it's late.
No, in the morning, obviously.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to discuss first?
There's also probably one other thing,
Yeah.
which is plans for if we get separated. Do we simply leave and head for the surface?
Yes.
Cat, she's like dancing behind me. I'm like, what? Anyway, yes, I believe that is the best plan.
Considering that we might have to exit via ways that we did not come into, we should probably agree to reconvene, say, at this tavern if we get separated. I mean, it would effectively be cutting our trip short, but I cannot see any other way around it.
I guess so. You have a spell, no? You could organize between us. Just if we were not in desperate terms. If things go to shit, we meet up here. But if we are simply separated...
My spell is short distance. I cannot organize across large distances.
Well, I know that there are scrolls that will teleport you to a specific point of origin, right? That exists.
It is very cutting edge magic.
When are we embarking?
A week or so. I would also like to suggest, if we are to be captured, there's a high chance that I would be tortured and or killed as a sun elf. However, he glances at Gilwyn. Some of you may simply be left to toil your lives away as slaves. It may be worth purchasing a form of poison that one could imbibe and one could hide to avoid such a fate. I dread to think of one of you trapped in chains at the bottom of the earth until you die.
Well, it won't happen to me. And I will save you. I will save you if it happens to any of you.
Please forgive me if I do not have faith in your ability to overcome an entire city of Drow.
I can't be imprisoned.
Why not?
Indira then misty steps to the other side of the table.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they have never encountered magic like that before. I bet they wouldn't have a set of magic shackles to pop on someone like that.
We can only do it once per day, I believe.
All I need is once.
What if they build a wall that is more than 50 foot tall?
I will scale it.
It just seems a little bold to presume that one trick like that would fool an entire nation.
We're not arguing
It's
about
worked
this right now.
before. Fine, poison. We'll get poison. You can kill yourself before I can come and save you.
We're not getting poison.
Oh, I wouldn't kill myself. They would surely do that for me.
We're not getting poison because we need every drop of gold we have for other things to help us.
Speaking of gold, to fund this mission, if we're not going to be getting hefty discounts for the service that we're doing to this country, then perhaps we ought to find work to bolster our purchasing power in the week that we have before we leave.
That week was merely an estimate. We do not know when the king may say they have accrue the selection of valuables for us to select.
It might be wise for us to do a little work and earn a little money to fund this mission.
I'll tell you right now, working a regular job will never get you enough money to buy a magic item. Because remember, 2 gold is a year's work for a regular commoner. You might you can earn like 12 gold or so in a week as an adventurer. It's still not much. Magic items are in the thousands of gold range.
I am a pretty good bard.
So, we need gold.
Surely,
Specifically what I was thinking.
surely the week would be better spent trying to find the best magical items for the best prices.
Well, I don't understand why we couldn't leave Gil, say, here to play and earn money while we went in search of these items.
I do not think an optional bard would earn enough. What we need to do is borrow some gold from someone who is well off enough that they will barely notice.
I just kind of can't believe that the king wouldn't offer to provide anything that we needed for them.
He did,
He
and
said
he
he would
is.
look.
Oh,
He's literally
Gotcha.
said he's gonna go through the halls to find magic items for you.
So I
He's
believe
there right now in like his bit, and he's like, "Oh, this might be good for them. Oh, they'll love this one." Oh,
He's
no,
not. He's not Copperbeard. He's not laughing while.
I wish it was Copperbeard.
Everyone loves Copperbeard.
I think tomorrow it would be sensible for us to go and meet with the king if possible.
Yes, see
and
what he
inquire
might be able
about-
to offer.
Yeah, the time frame. We need to know how long we've got. Give him time to look through the inventory of the castle. And if we know what he's going to provide with us, it will lessen our scope on what we need or what we're shopping for.
it still wouldn't hurt to look in shops in the meantime to see if there's something that we absolutely must have so that we can ask him to procure it for us.
It's
should we need
night time, and I'm saying we're meeting him first thing in the morning.
it. Okay.
So, early night, early start, yes?
Yeah,
Try not to look so glum, Indira. At least you're going away from people who want to kill you to people who will try to kill you, no? Eh? None of this behind the back business.
Dira gets up and goes to her room.
wait.
What?
Before any of you go, I'll pull out my other loot and snip off 3 of the strings. And with my disguise kit, I will paint gold, purple, and blue. Give gold to Vale, purple to Indira. Actually, it'd be red to Indira and blue to Serena. I will know where each of you are. Hold on to these, please. Tie them up in a little ring, if it pleases you.
She would wrap it around her wrist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
Little bit creepy. He taps you on the shoulder.
Gold
So you're
eyeliner's
gonna need to
expensive.
buy wood. Gonna need to buy rooms.
Well, let's share a room. You know, we need to save gold.
You can share a room.
Not all 4 of us, obviously.
Yeah, me and Vale and these 2.
I'm still buying a flippin' expensive room.
Rooms are 2 to 4 gold, depending on how much you want to spend.
1
4
gold
gold.
each.
Well,
No,
then
I
I
get-
would just stay with the boys if she's gonna stay by herself.
Yeah.
I will absolutely stay with myself if that's.
I
I'll
don't
spend
think she
4
was
gold
planning on
room.
sharing. Yeah.
They
I
will.
would throw
We're,
down a gold.
we're potentially going to our deaths. I am absolutely going to live it up.
They will pay the requisite 2 gold.
Cool. All right.
Vale, unless absolutely necessary, when we're down there, do not go far away from me, okay? Stick close by.
Of course.
I'm serious.
Ilwyn, you must understand that Indira possesses incredible strength. You possess incredible charisma, and Serena possesses incredible sass. However, when it comes to athletic and acrobatic abilities, you all pale before me. I am traveling around with a brick chained to my knee, leg, ankle. What is it you... The chain and ball, you know? We don't have them. It is pointless.
Something around with a chain on your balls. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. A chain on my balls. And it is difficult sometimes to not separate so as to allow me to spread my proverbial wings and help you guys. It's just... why do you say... Are you just worried? You know, I will be fine down there. I won't go far from you because I do not wish for us to be separated or for you to come to harm.
Okay. That's fair enough. Just don't... If we're in a scuffle, I don't want you too far away.
Of course not.
Because if need be, I have potentially one get out of jail free card. Because Monopoly exists in Jarviskjir, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course, if we're in a scuffle, I won't leave you. I've seen your sword play. Let's just say we should have kept on with your fencing lessons, no?
After all this is done, you can teach me.
Yes, maybe then we'll have enough gold. We could buy a manor in the gold district of Goldport. I think I might like that. Live as a human for a century. Not quite as a human, but, you know, that sort of thing. No?
Right, Bill.
Fine.
You're just like listening to you guys. She's just laying on her back, running the lute string through her fingers, just listening.
I mean, I definitely would have... I guess I should have said it. I would have endeavoured to say this, like, as we're going up or privately or whatever. But I should have said. That's fair.
It's all good.
There is still listening. In the background,
She's
you just see her, like, the
always
camera
listening.
yeah. Heavy breathing, just...
Gotta know all the secrets. You go to sleep. Those of you that sleep.
I don't.
I'm awake
Else don't sleep.
early. You know, it's during the sort of morning chorus of whatever birds live on in the trees around the silver lining. A little bit of light streams into your rooms. There's actually a little note that's been pushed under the door of your shared room. It has an address, and it says Witch's Wine, and there's a little symbol drawn on the bit. It's like a tiny slip of paper. There's a little symbol drawn on the bottom, which is a blue diamond, checkered diamond. Two sections of it are blue. One is yellow and one is green.
Do we recognize this symbol?
You can give me religion or, I suppose, insight checks.
Indira does not know this symbol.
Religion.
You can give me a check.
Religion.
Not really her forte.
Vale recognizes it because he actually was taught about all the gods in the Elven Pantheon as the symbol of Balondir Lordance, the elvish god of music and subterfuge, of which the Harlequins are clearly followers. They're called the Dancers of Baal. They go around performing, but usually, and actually you've got a really good check so you know this, it's not something everyone knows. Usually groups of dancers have another purpose, They learn secrets. They similar to Indira. There's lots of stories of them going and trying to free slaves, but like going to perform at nobles' balls and things. And they're one of the because they're small groups. They're actually one of the groups that supposedly hear from their god the most in like the Elvish pantheon. So it's probably a note from those Harlequins related to your quest or whatever. There's
I feel like
stories of
they
them
would
helping.
probably know who Indira was then.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe.
What was the name? The witches?
The witch's wine. Or just witch's wine. There's no...
I guess it is some form of potion shop, perhaps? Or maybe a tavern that they are in or based in. We should check it out on the way back from the palace, perhaps?
Yeah.
On the way too, in case they give us something.
It's not going anywhere. I need to see the king.
I mean, either way, if we spot it, we can pop in, but I do not know where it is.
Doesn't address.
Oh, is it on the way?
Yeah, well, nothing's on the way.
That's
It's just
very
sky. So it would be a detour, but it's not very far away. You know, you wouldn't be spending a whole day going here.
I think acquiring knowledge before we do anything else is the smartest option.
Hopefully, speaking to the king would allow us to set plans. Yes.
Exactly.
Alright. To the king then?
Mm-hmm.
As we left the room, Vale would like hold the door for everyone, and as Indira goes by, he would catch her hand.
She looks at him.
Is everything all right? You haven't exactly been yourself recently.
Well, I'm terrified. I can't seem to make smart plans that anybody likes. I'm fine.
You know, you
Feeling
don't-
more at home than you realize.
You're not trapped here. You don't have to come. You are welcome to stay safe somewhere else on the surface, to go back to your ship.
How am I going to breach the Underdark if I go back to my ship?
You're not. But at least then you won't be so terrified.
I'll be much less terrified in the Underdark.
You saying my city is really that bad?
You've painted it to be.
Excuse me?
You caution me to watch myself constantly.
Yes, I cautioned you to watch yourself once about how you look. The other times are your manner of conducting yourself.
I think that fighting between us right now is a bad idea.
I think that going into the Underdark with things left unsaid between us is a worst idea. We need to be an effective team, not a closed-minded one. I am sorry I have offended you. Please
You
elaborate.
haven't offended me.
Then why are you acting so strangely?
I'm not.
You
I'm
have
fine.
been out of sorts.
There are a lot of reasons for me to be uncomfortable, none of which can be changed at the moment. I'd really like to just get a move on. That's all.
Okay. Just try not to take it out on me then, because I feel like it is something I have done.
I'm not trying to take anything out on you.
Okay.
To the king
He'd slam
then.
the door, but he doesn't say anything.
You head off back to the palace.
Sorry, I'm
You
just,
share it with the class, Mr. Gallagher.
just giggling at how cute Neil was when he said that.
Um,
Fanboying over.
Well, Neil needs at least one fan, so...
See that, Boxy? That's me. Doing a you.
What? Oh.
You head back to the palace, and I assume you literally walk up to the palace. And when you do, actually, a sun elf in full solar guard, paladin armor, shield sort of presented, would actually kind of walk up to you while you're kind of aimlessly wandering the palace, towards the way you remember the throne room, probably, and will say, if you are looking for the king, he is in vaults below. If you are seeking items for your journey, I can take you to see him.
Yes, please. Sorry, Bill.
I was going to say the same thing.
He will start leading you down. It's kind of similar to when you were in Fan Shiraz, how things are clearly carved out of stone, which, while being, very stereotypically dwarven, doesn't feel like that. It's elven construction. Very old, very ancient. It's finer, it's more delicate. You wouldn't know that it was being carved out of the inside of stone, unlike, dwarven stuff. It's almost like they built downwards and then the stone's made around it, but that's not what happened, but that's what it feels like. Brings you down to a underground chamber that's really a series of chambers and safes and similar such things. The vault of magic items and most likely a lot of money as well, where you actually see a few attendants, younger elves, not even a century old, looking through things very clearly in rich garb on heraldry of being, an important squire or some such. And you can go through to one of his areas, and there's sort of lots of T-junctions and things, where the King of Thundrol is, staff still in hand, is kind of looking over a table of various items. And he'll turn a little bit before you get all the way there, and will give a nod. And he'll look over at a lot of you, which is kind of hard to tell, because he has kind of that slight glowing eye thing, but there's still a sharpness to them. And we'll say that I was not expecting to see a lot of you return so soon. Then we are not dealing with just elven kind, and haste is of the essence. I have spent all night deciphering what gifts would be best to send you on your way with. I assume that is why you are here.
Yes and no.
And no.
I thought we were just in Sorry, one moment.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring up something else. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you take this one.
Okay. Yes. We decided that coming here first and foremost would be wise, not only to receive whatever items you're willing to provide to us, but also perhaps if you could give us a time frame on how much time we have to prepare before we set out.
You will set out at your earliest convenience. I say that word in jest. I will grant you these gifts, and you will travel down as fast as feasibly possible. It will take time to organize armies, but once you relay us the specifics of any teleportation cycle thereabouts, assuming that this plan works, it is from that boy Fenos, then we will most likely send all of the Solar Guard, every Sun Elf, down in there to a crusade. as much as we physically can.
Just the Sun Elves?
They are trained warriors with powers holy who can handle dark magic of Drow first. Sending an entire army through a teleportation circle is nigh impossible. They are small. It requires powerful magic to power up one journey. I remember times of grander magic. This teleportation circle is not a gateway we can send an entire platoon of soldiers through. What battle we will fight even once we have it will be guerrilla warfare against a larger army. Something that solar elves are not trained for in a particular sense. But the purifying magic of the sun will be necessary for any foothold we want to hold in the realm of darkness. He kind of looks at Serena. One realm of darkness.
I suppose that makes sense.
I would love to prepare for hundreds of years, but it seems that the usurper elves have been doing so already.
We ask that you trust us to be swift in our preparations, but we don't. I think the last thing any of us wants is for us to go down ill-prepared.
He nods. If you require a month or time or more, it would be understood. You are going to be going into the city of the Drow to search for a circle of teleportation. If it is anything like the kind we have in High Thundrel and ancient Velheim, it will be secret. It will be known only to a few. It'll be subterfuge. It'll be intrigue. It might take time in the city for you to learn of such a place, and even more time to get into such a place. We are not expecting you to travel into the dark in a day and give us an answer in a day. You have time.
I believe what would serve us best at this moment would be an idea of the sorts of things you will be able to provide, and how long we might need to wait for them, so that we can try to acquire items that we feel might be beneficial through other means, if
I
necessary.
have the gifts you will be receiving here behind my back.
In that case, that makes this very simple.
That answers one question and then answers the other.
Preparations you want to make will be your own. You are a small group. You will not be given the sun itself to lead down to the dark, but gifts of magic that can help you in such a journey. And he kind of... There's cloth on the table that hides most of the things. I mean, to say it's cloth is an understatement, you know, golden gossamer sheets and things. And he will look over the lot of you and take the first thing out, which appears to be a very fine cloak. It's a pure black. It's almost like a Vanta black kind of thing, but not quite. There's some gloss to it. No fancy heraldry or anything like that, but some fur around the end, which is almost a bluish color. Not dyed fur either. Whatever is on this is a bluish color. I say this cloak will be valuable for your subterfuge. It could disguise you as any creature you wish. Well, any sapient creature with a disguise would work. It holds magic that you can use as you need it. And he'll kind of place it back down. You can decide these amongst yourselves, what you've seen, what I have to offer. These braziers, though, I will assume will be for your Avarai warrior. I see that she charges into battle with heavy armor, but her kind often would be better without. And holds up some braces that are of a fine quality, even though they don't look like they would defend anyone. You know, they're not planks of armor. They're almost more like a very long bracelet that goes down the arm with intricate designs. It's clearly vaguely Sun Elf. You know, there's kind of swooping circles and things, almost like the map that Ever was given.
They're like golden.
Yeah, absolutely.
All pretty.
They're works of art. Like, Indira would wear them even if they weren't magical. And when he holds them, they're very light. When he puts them down on a table, there's like they make a heavier noise than they clearly should. Would naturally because of the weight of magic upon them. And we'll move along. Now, traveling for such a long time in an unearthly terrain is costly. Freshwater might be quite difficult, so for this, and he will hold what looks to be a fancy water skin, something none of you would be silly enough to buy because water skins need to be replaced and break and whatever.
Accidentally sit on it and
sit on it. Yeah, leave it at the bottom of your bag. Something heavy goes on it, it leaks. You know,
God,
it's a lot of problems. But this is like again, fine gold detailing in some areas. The other parts are leather. Clearly something powerful. It's almost a kind of brass scale. This water skin does not contain unlimited water, but few can drink of it and receive all the nourishment they may need for travel and journeys. And last of all is for your spellcaster, although I might be loath to give you a weapon you may use against the sun one day.
Serena smirks at that.
He reveals a last thing, which is very small. It's kind of this, again, golden bauble, really like a tree bauble, but it's hollow, and inside of it is a pearl. The pearl kind of rolls around inside it. It will allow you to greater communicate with the realms of magic beyond most comprehension.
I wouldn't worry about her using it against the sun. You know, she's not even going to live that long. Right?
Once her mother awakes, she very well might outlive the realm we sit upon.
They'll look confused at this.
Serena having sort of like just been sort of like, yeah, whatever to Vel's comment, then just smirks at him.
You travel with a creature created by an empress who slumbers in the realm of darkness, not a realm below us, but a realm of palpable shadow. A goddess who is opposed to the sun and may very well be a threat just like the drow at one point. The chances of this are low, and hopefully fighting for us on this day you will gain some respect for the power of the sun and not turn on the innocent people we strive to protect.
Well, if you look at it another way, if we do to go down there and get ourselves killed, then at least my mother has a target other than your city.
Good thinking.
I believe there are many loyal to the Empress of Shadows in the realm below. So
That might be useful in its own right.
Very well, it might. These are the gifts I can part to you now.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you.
May they grant you light on your journey. And he will kind of start moving past you.
So, the cloak and the water skin and Gillivan.
The water skin, I think, is the only thing that doesn't require attunement. Everything else requires attunement to use.
I think it's fairly obvious that Vale should have the cloak.
I might get hung otherwise on first sight. I suppose that's true. And you always drink too much, Gilwyn.
Well, it's good to keep your throat hydrated. I don't.
Yes, but not with spirits.
Okay, it's always good to keep your throat.
Spirated.
It's good to keep your whistle wetted.
Ah,
Look, just
that's
give me-
by
just-
another liquid entirely.
Hey, Vale's gonna with the cloak then.
Cool. It doesn't really suit you at all.
Oof,
Actually,
I'm,
with the armor you're wearing, it kind of does. Actually.
Yeah, my
to be
armor's
fair.
actually very dark.
Your armor is dark, and it does have a little bit of color to it, so you're not like full goth. Of course, the cloak doesn't do anything magical now, but that is it's a cloak version of the hat of illusions or whatever it's called. In that you can use disguise self on yourself, I believe, at will while using this cloak. Once you're
Nice.
attuned to it, which will be, tomorrow.
Yeah.
To
I'm
attune
just-
to a magical item, because in case you want to share items in the future, basically you spend your long rest attuning. You can only be attuned to 3 items at a time.
I'm just holding the little ball, examining it. No idea what it actually does, but he says if it deepens my connection to the Empress...
I will straight up tell you because it's easier that way.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called because I was looking this up earlier. But this allows you to restore a spell slot up to 3rd level once per day.
Yep. Thought as much.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what those things are called.
It's like
Iron stones.
No, it's not an ion stone.
Pearl of Power.
Pearl of Power.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I thought it was something basic bitch. Pearl of Power. And the water skin doesn't require attunement, but can give basically sustenance to 4 people a day. You only need to sip from it once. It only lets you sip from
Oh
it
wow,
once.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's dope as fuck.
And the bracers are not your standard bracers of defense because they would actually be useless for Indira because she's clumsy. So what these do, while they're essentially the same thing, would allow you to have an unarmored score of 16, which is your current unarmored score. The advantage being you're not weighed down by armor, and it doesn't give you don't have your disadvantage of stealth you used to have.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at my traits, and I have this unarmored defense.
Yeah,
thing.
no, unarmored defense wouldn't be good for you because your dex is bad. Remember?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it would put me at 15. to
Oh, in
remove my
which
armor.
case, if it puts you at 15 and you can use armor, well, I thought it would be lower. What armored braces do, or braces of defense usually do, is if you aren't wearing armor, plus 2 AC. So in which case you could use it normally and have a 17 AC. So everyone wins.
I mean,
Yeah,
unarmored
let's-
defense for barbarians, isn't it 10 plus cons mod plus dex mod?
Yeah.
What's
evens out
Indira's
more.
cons mod then? Because that,
3.
well, that would make it, that would by default you'd be 12 plus for 2 from the thing then, wouldn't you? Because it's 10 plus cons plus dex, and your dex is -1.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that math. You're right.
In which
My fault.
case, you take the 60.
Sorry. Okay.
Great. Then
Gifts-
your magic
gifts
items.
received. Well, he's no Galadriel, but I guess he'll do.
So you get a cool cloak. Indira gets gorgeous braces. Serena gets a cool bauble. And I get this.
Yes, it's very human.
Mm,
You want the bracers?
definitely not. They're definitely worth it. They look good on you.
I don't think they'd look good on Gilwyn though.
Nah. I don't even think they'd fit. I'll raise my bony little arms up.
She's bony too. She's tiny. She is.
I'm bony.
Yeah,
Very likely
it's
smaller
something to
than you.
remember that Indira is small and very thin
Twiggy.
and lithe. She is like exceedingly unnaturally strong. I love me my like muscly women barbarians. Indira isn't. She just is strong because she's Fae.
Purge the abomination. Wait, what? Yeah. So now we should go and get some supplies and see whether we can find a shop that sells perhaps more basic magic items as well.
Yes.
Magic items first, supplies after? Because we may need less supplies if we have magic items to cover for lack of supplies.
So you can go to the
Okay.
shop you got the address to.
Oh yeah.
And
good
then
plan.
if you want to look for specific magic items, that would be a week of downtime. Of which you could get supplies during. You know?
Yeah.
The-
It depends
the
if you
wet
want to.
witch.
Which is wine.
Which is wine, not the Wet Witch. Wet Witch is
Wet
the name of my
A very
sex
different
tape.
place.
Yeah.
But a very nice
The strip
establishment.
club.
Sorry, I'm thinking of a bar in Goldpot.
It's funny because there's a tavern in Jarviskjir called the Water Wizard. Way on the other way. Like they could be sister taverns.
I'm sure if the Wet Witch existed in Goldpot, it would have been bent down by now.
Yeah. Wasn't so wet it couldn't burn. You can follow the address on the note. Taking a flying chariot into the into Thundra proper, into the Sky City. You actually haven't done this. You've spent a little bit of time in the lower city, but actually walking around the Sky City of tall towers and things you haven't done before. It's definitely for a higher class of elves who, you know, they can live forwards of 400 years quite comfortably, and they live in comfort and decadence. It's very clean. There's these tall towers that kind of interconnect in certain places, and between them are like, you know, gardens and plateaus and things. But also there's a lot of shopping and sale of magic items and things, and enchanters and high quality weaponsmiths. The not Wet Witch, which is wine.
Whiny witch.
You incepted me into.
If we retire,
boy.
we should start a tavern called that, though.
The sprain water which is wine. You've completely derailed my train.
I'm
It's
sorry.
gone. It's actually, you've broken my head.
The witch is wine.
The Witch's
funny
Wine
witch.
is one of those areas in those sort of boutiques because, like, you can't just fly to some places in the Sky City. There's kind of areas where the chariots often land, basically stations. But you have to walk around for a bit through, fairly tight stairwells flanked by buildings that have roses growing in planters on the sides. And this tower, this shop, this boutique is one of those. There's kind of an opening with red silks around the door, but no real windows or anything. But does have a little bit of a sign. Where there's other shops nearby which are like, well, one scroll, like it's bigger. This is actually a little more subtle. When you step in, there'd be a tiny little bit of a bell, and it opens up into this very comfortable boutique that is 2 stories. This big one chamber that's 2 stories tall with kind of like a balcony awning around the middle of the top, and some rooms that kind of go off through the middle one. A lot of deep reds, this deep red rug on the ground that kind of shows all these magical. It actually shows all the schools of magic, the conventional schools of magic, in some artistry, and it's just a very comfortable atmosphere here. It's haughty. In a high elven way, but not aggressively so, because it's not filled with people. There's a little bit of harp music that's actually being played by a woman up on the 2nd floor. And very soon after you enter, a high elven woman who appears to be, older in age, but not necessarily fading, would approach you wearing this black and white dress. She actually has a scar that kind of runs across her nose like that. It's not exactly symmetrical. And she will give you a very gentle bow with her hands clasped in front of her. And will say, well, welcome. You're clearly a group of travelers who are looking for magic items to aid you on whatever quest you have.
Yes, we were invited. Do you have the card? We were invited. Get.
She will take it and look. Ah, yes. This is... I will not say this is an invite-only shop of magic, but... it is for the trusted. You have been brought here by the Dancers of Baal, which means they have an interest in you. Which means they've seen something in you. Which means you can definitely get some
in there.
Still something in her, alright? Aye.
Yeah. Serena nudges Indira as well. It's like,
You're the one that fucked one.
I know.
Yeah, that's the funniest
it's like
thing.
one of those things.
Yeah.
A knowing look.
She will actually like walk and move. Like, what do you need? We have many things at a discount for those who know of this place.
Well, there were a couple of things we thought of straight off, which was somewhere to store lots of things without it being big and heavy.
You will want a good traditional bag of holding for this. Luckily, we have quite a deal on these. I know someone who makes them. You might go to some place, and she's kind of like, will actually move over, weave a little bit of very arcane, wizardy magic. You kind of see the rings of magic form around her fingers as this wall is kind of a checkerboard, and kind of see the boxes inside move, or move one down towards her hand. She'll move out. In some places, they will charge you thousands of gold for a bag of holding, which I will admit is not entirely unreasonable. They do open up into a pocket dimension. Such magic is extremely valuable, but every adventurer wants one. For you, I can offer this to 200 gold. And she will show that it's this kind of slightly bluish bag. It's brown with like blue highlights. It kind of has like this relaxed face engraved into it. It kind of looks like someone has just eaten a really big meal and they're just like, and the pouch is the mouth. It's very pretty. It's not over the top extravagant, but it's very pretty.
I'm sorry.
Dopey bag of holding.
Someone gave that bag of holding a big bag of weed.
It's a bag of weed holding.
It's cool. It's formerly Cool Ollie's bag.
It's Cool Ollie's bag.
Well, I think that's probably a good deal. No, we 50 gold each. We'll take it. No, you do all have 50 gold, yeah?
Aye.
Yes, that is reasonable by me.
We will take it.
Yeah, you pay 50 gold each. You can have it.
Yep.
To those of you who haven't used the bag of holding, which is, Vale and Gillen have probably played. I was gonna say played with Amelia's. It's bad. Played with Sid's. You know, it like
It was
to Indira,
Because,
who's
of course,
definitely
Amelia
never
had,
encountered
like, a
one
little
before.
pouch,
She had a
didn't
tiny. She had a purse of holding, as we called it.
Female elf, weird. Male gnome, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, go on. You to Indira and Serena, who haven't used one of these before, you know, it opens up and looks like there's just darkness. You reach your hand in and you think of what's inside, and if sort of assuming you've placed it in there before, and it comes out. Essentially, there's rules in traditional D&D for the size of a bag of holding, but essentially in Jarviskjir they are bottomless.
No living things though.
There's no air inside the bag. Yes.
Yeah.
But you can put living things in there, they just won't survive.
You just gotta hold your breath.
Real good.
Real
You
good.
can put dead
And
bodies
don't
in
put
there.
food in there, because that has happened before.
There's a
think it was not
specialized
good.
sort of bacteria designed that evolved to grow inside bags of holding and will slowly decay your food.
Are they-
Really?
are they
It's happened
accurate?
before in Jarviskjir. They a
Huh.
party stored a bunch of food in there, like not in Tupperware or anything. And I did point out, and it's like, you know that, like, okay, and yeah, it went bad. And then everything they brought out of the bag had like a layer of mold on it from like a bit on.
I did not know that.
Why would you?
Well, I mean, like, in chat, people are saying.
out of
What
character.
Sorry.
Organic things.
else would you be interested in? And who's getting the bag?
Gil,
Gil.
That
he's
makes
our
sense.
treasurer.
You're like how a human donkey, you know, you have the water, you have the bag now. We traveled with a friend who was capable of generating a sphere that would keep us safe, obscured, warm, and dry. I'm afraid I am not familiar with the magics, but it took her a little while to cast it, and then it would last the entire night and allow us to sleep in relative comfort and safety. We were looking for perhaps some form of item that would allow us to reproduce that effect multiple times. The nature of our journey will mean that we will be traveling for a long time in less than friendly circumstances.
You definitely don't want a scroll. I know the magics that you speak of, some creating a small pocket of protection, and I think I may have something of the sort. She will shuffle while thinking. This takes a little bit of time.
Is that a checkerboard of holding?
No, it is more like a library of magic.
That's cool, right, guys?
These boxes are not infinite. They store things in a very physical space. It just allows me to organize and hide and store and use.
Ah, so you don't like shelves?
Oh, we have shelves. Kind of like there's things on display, you know.
Also, I thought that they were like a front. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with these magic shop things, you know.
Bill,
Some
will you
things.
let her look, please.
Yeah, right. Good. Yeah, I'll do that.
What she ends up finding. It's like brings out like these are big almost storage boxes. Brings it out, opens it up, reaches in, tiny little item. It's sort of like a key made of a polished blue stone. Most people would know it as lapis lazuli. And there's a golden ring that hangs off it, so you can attach it to like your key rings easier and stuff. But like, and she will say that this can create a similar magic. It's not exactly the most hidden thing, but it can give you protection in a long journey through dangerous places. This was used in the deserts of the south before I picked it up.
Yeah, I believe I believe it's not as stealthy as we would like, but at least it's safe.
Yes, and would stop us from freezing or cooking or choking to death in poison gas. These are caves. I guess that could happen.
And you'll find the while it might not be subtle, it is quite impenetrable.
Good.
What will this cost us?
Yeah, I'm looking. I can never find a section I want in this book when I want it. I always find other sections like, oh, that's a really interesting area of the book that I always forget about. But never the part I want. Never the two shall meet. Never Ollie will be, like, good.
One day, I'm going to come around your house and club you unconscious. And then absolutely fill your book with post-it notes.
No! I've been told that
you'll
before.
hate it.
And people, yeah, exactly. People were like, why don't you just mark each chapter? Then every chapter is marked and I have the same problem. There's just post-it notes.
Yeah, but you
But
just
at
go.
least you can
just
write
go-
on the
you
post-it
finger
notes.
through the post-it notes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it does. That doesn't help my
You
brain.
like chapter that, chapter that, chapter that, chapter that. There.
You think that I have good? I have bad brain.
But if you color code them and then
Big
make an Excel spreadsheet and then write
Yeah,
down
you
the
open
colour.
up your Excel spreadsheet, which is on your.
I'll
Google
expel
Drive.
you.
No, you won't. You have a problem with that.
What does that even mean?
Talking about your butt.
That's not the only way to expel things.
He's gonna ejaculate me.
Yeah. Okay, so 400 gold.
400.
400.
I will put 100 towards that. Or
I'll put
150.
100.
I'll put 150
Put
towards
100.
it.
I will put 50.
I'll put 150 then. Oh,
And this
So I'm putting
this
100.
also requires attunement. I remember you're gonna have 3 things attuned, so Gilwyn Gallagher is stacked out.
He's the responsible one.
He's also
like-
the like
he's like
arcane
a Power Ranger
spellcaster.
with all his different gear.
Yeah.
He's our MacGyver. Our McGilwin.
Yeah, I like that. Anything else you would be interested in? It seems you're going on quite the deliberate journey.
Yes. My knowledge of magical objects is limited. However,
You merely tell me what you would like in as much vagueness as you wish. We'll see if there's something in our collection that is for sale.
Scrolls. We need scrolls that can teleport us out of there. Preferably to here.
Teleportation magic is not very common outside the City of Spires. But I can see if we have any.
that will give us some time to think, nonetheless.
Yeah. I was about to explain something, but none of you know it.
We have food and water, sort of, to a degree. We have shelter. We have storage.
I just realized we're doing a shopping session. Yay! Chat's least favorite, but I like them. Also,
we
I'm
need-
Dave right now.
Do we need anything to help us disguise ourselves? Or,
Sure.
no, something for light. If we get into a bad situation, drow don't like daylight. My
Don't
gem
you
of bri-
have
my gem
that?
of brightness provides light, but not daylight.
Should we take a break while we think? We've missed the normal break time slightly.
Oh!
Yeah, I gotta
We
pee
have.
really bad.
I
Sorry,
didn't even
sent you a
notice.
message.
I will never see any message you give me if it's not in Twitch chat.
You
But yeah, no,
see
we'll be
them
back.
sometimes.
Don't assume anything. Make an ass out of me.